Very happy to see this many people on the call. We'll start with a check-in because most of us don't know each other. We have some new faces. Let's just quickly do a hub kind of check-in, saying your name, which IMPACT hub you're from, and yeah, what's on your mind. We don't have a specific order, so I'll pass it on to Tim, who's sitting on my left, and then we can continue with Steph, and then I'll try to facilitate it based on my screen. So Tim.
Hello everyone, my name is Tim. I'm a volunteer at Impact Hub Vienna as part of the communication team. I'm working on a number of different projects, but this one is one of the more exciting ones, which is always nice.
Cool. Stephanie, maybe you can continue.
Hi everyone, nice to see most of you all again. I think I've seen you all on one call or another at this stage. Great to be on this MashUp call. Very excited about what kind of awesome global ideas come out of this super brainstorming we've got today.
Cool. Dario.
Hello, I'm Dario. I do see some familiar faces. Very happy about that. Hello, Munich. Sorry, yeah, I'm Dario. I'm working at the Impact Hub Geneva as a community manager. And yes, very excited about this project as well, even though I have to say I don't know so much about what's going on with this global mashup event yet. So I'm to learn mostly. Somehow, kind of, I don't know, somehow we didn't catch the information that we should have caught. Yeah, so that much from me. Thank you very much for holding the call.
Cool, thanks Dario. Maybe we go to Munich.
Hello. Yeah, first we started with regional. So we had a meeting with Austria and Holland, and now we're going global, so we're very excited. My name is Margarita, and I'm a part in communication and event management.
Yeah, hi from Munich as well. Carolina, I'm in charge of community events communication and the global membership. Yay! Or implementing it. So yeah, super excited, and yeah, great project.
Looking forward to the 26th. Yeah.
Cool, thanks. Stockholm.
Hey everybody, Joab from Impact Hub Stockholm, Community Catalyst and Manager, and with me,
Olena, part of communication team and the person responsible for the global membership.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Hey everybody.
Cool, Gaio.
Hello everyone. Yes, guys, I love it, and I deal a lot with programs, and we're launching the Impact Hub membership, and we're all super excited. So looking forward to finding out how we're gonna do the mashup all together.
Dusan, you're on mute.
All right, great, thank you. So, the guy, I was just checking whether you have the agenda opened. We shared it in the chat window. If you don't see it because you joined later, maybe Steph, you can paste it again and send it directly to Gaia. Thanks. All right, we're going to King's Cross. So, Alessandro.
Hi, everybody. I'm Alessandro, Community Manager of Impact Hub King's Cross.
João. João, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just came back.
No, it's good to check in.
Okay, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you guys. I'm João from Impact Hub São Paulo. I'm one of the directors here, and I'm running the MashUp project here. So it's great to meet you guys, and I hope we have a great call.
Thanks. And last but not least, Bucharest, Madalina.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Madalina. I'm community manager in Bucharest, and I'm happy to be here with you guys.
Hi, Madalina. Madalina, could I just ask if you mute your mic when you're not talking so we can block out?
Yes.
Thank
Sorry.
you.
Thanks, Steph. I think that Steph is the most experienced person by now in the network when it comes to conference calling. So maybe you can do like a workshop or Skillshare of that. Anyway, moving on. Some of you asked how long this call is going to take. I'll do my best to keep it by 6, so probably we'll be done by that. The content of the call is anyway going to be mostly open, so we'll try to see what questions you have about the upcoming global mashup, and I'll try to run through the content that we prepared quickly so that we can address any of the questions. So that leads me to the point number 2, which is a couple of clarification updates. First is the purpose of the call. So the purpose of the call is not necessarily to put people on the same page when it comes to what MashUp is, but rather to quickly go through some of the learnings from some of the mashups that happened in the past couple of weeks, but then also to brainstorm and decide on what are some of the things that we can do together in order to host a truly global experience for the people attending the mashup. That's pretty much the purpose of the call. Then the second point is who drives mashup. I've been asked by some of you whether I'm somehow someone who needs to prepare material and come up with a plan and send it out. That's unfortunately, even though it would be exciting, not true, because I didn't have a capacity to do something like that. But I was rather right now the one who sent out invitations so that we can get to know each other and take it from here. So that means that I've been thinking about this event format for a while now. We actually done it in Vienna 2 weeks ago. Our members and also other attendees loved it. So I'm happy to share any learnings. But that means that if you, because being part of the call, I assume that you decided to host this global mashup on the 26th of November. That means that whatever we come up with, once we decide on it, you will kind of join the global mashup project team. So that means that we'll work on making sure that all these awesome experiences or elements happen. So that's regarding the who drives mashup. And the last one is to make sure to make it sound global. So I think that the most important thing, or the opportunity that we shouldn't afford to miss with when it comes to the next upcoming mashup, is the globalness of it. So I don't know if there are many events in the past in the Impact Hub network that happen at the same time on many different locations on the same day. And I think this is something that we need to use in order to test whether our members find this to be exciting, relevant for their Impact Hub membership experience, and so on and so forth. So that's just something I'm putting out there. So, whatever you do with the upcoming mashup, just make sure that it at least sounds global, and we make sure that we're going to make it feel global as well. Great. Moving on. So the third part is I call it the Mashup 101. So we'll go through very quick reminder of what the mashup is. Some learnings from Vienna, from Prague, and as well from Sao Paulo, because these are the Impact Hubs that did mashup so far. The very quick reminder, so mashup is consisted of 3 stories in a Pecha format and questions from the audience. Then also it includes the networking part after these talks, where members can actually meet other members or other people interested in supporting their work. And it has an optional topic. So, for example, in Vienna, the topic of the last mashup was Refugees Welcome. In King's Cross, I saw that it will be from 1 to many. You can check out the King's Cross website for more information about the topic. And in Berlin, the topic is Conscious Law and Intentional Tech. So that was a quick reminder. Again, if you have any question at any given point of time, because I probably won't pause, just dump the questions below, and then we can clarify them later. Questions are located in section number 4. Moving on, learnings from Vienna. So we did the first mashup 2 weeks ago, and it was on the topic of Refugees Welcome. So a lot of what we noticed is that a lot of our members, they care about this topic, and they were asking us anyway to organize events around this topic. So we said, okay, we'll actually just facilitate this energy, and we'll host a mashup where we invited some of the members who have some project in the field, and they share their stories, and overall we received very good feedback. So trying to extract what are the elements that made it successful. I think that what helped is having a topic and a story. So I think that the topic of Refugees Welcome was not too broad, but not too specific. So that meant that it attracted anyone interested or caring about the topic of integration of refugees. And then also it had a story. So we tried to select the speakers in a way that the whole event was telling the story. So the story of the whole mashup was, we noticed that there are people out there who care, but they don't know how to take collaborative action. So we decided to invite people who are taking collaborative action and to get them to share the work that they're doing and to clarify any questions from the audience in order for the audience to be able and inspired to take an action. And that helped in communication because clearly it had a story. So it was not just a hub event where some stories will be shared. And I think that was a crucial factor. Then the second thing were stories. So we were, instead of pitches or talks, we actually had stories. So we had people sharing their personal journey. Some of them had projects and were driving projects, but still they didn't talk. It was not in the format of a pitch, but it was rather a story. And that allowed people to connect with the people presenting, and as well, I think had an influence on the quality of the experience. And we also brought different perspectives. I'm mentioning this because I think it's very important or very interesting that the name is a mashup. So we had, as one of the speakers, an actual refugee. And the topic of his talk was refugees integration from a user perspective. So that meant that we really provided 360 degrees experience of approaching this topic of refugee integration. So that's something that people said that they really liked. So not having only 3 entrepreneurs sharing, but rather, I don't know, people that are their users and so on. More on this later again, if it's not clear, you can park the question. Then the post there, what we also said is that we some of the people were interested in coming to the event, but they were not invited as these 6-minute story shares, but rather they were invited because they showed interest in the event. I knew they were members of our community, and I told you guys, after we are done with the talks, we'll have up to around 10 minutes for you to, in 1 minute, just literally pitch, the work that you're doing to the audience, so that we can dive into the networking part, and you can invite others to get to know you. So an example was a lady that was working on a booklet for refugees integration, and she said, "Hi guys, this is my name, this is what I'm doing, talk to me later during the networking part." And actually, a really cool thing happened. Because she pitched that, it happened that there was a lady in the audience who then approached me to connect her with this lady, and most probably her project will get funded because of the mashup. So that's also a very, very interesting feature that I highly recommend. And we had some space for the networking, so we firstly after the event we stayed at the hub and we had a drink, and after that we also went to a bar. So it goes without saying, but it's also relevant to plan with that. By the way, I see that Joao and Gaia have mics unmuted, so maybe you can mute the mics quickly before we continue. Gaia? Yeah, great, perfect. All right, and the last point from my side, or from Vienna's side, is that we kept it inclusive, which meant that it was open for non-members to attend as well. And people like that because they also said, it actually gave, so it didn't allow them to also invite some other people from the outside, but also to spread the word about their work to outside of the hub community. Great, so those were learnings from Vienna. Then moving on to Prague. Kate, who works with Impact Hub Prague, she can't join the call, but she shared some of these learnings or some success elements from Prague. So first thing is that they have well-prepared speakers. So they work with speakers as in speakers actually present their talk to the event organizer before the actual event. And then she gives them feedback. So they already start working with the speakers way in advance, and they see this as a crucial part of the success. Then also they get people to vote for the ideas, for the quality of the ideas, and they actually reward the best ideas. So it's kind of a competition, and also it's a good way of engaging the audience. Then they have the post-pitches networking, similar thing to Vienna, so I won't go into details. People go for a drink after the event. They have a Slides Live. Slides Live is a cool app. It's used to record the talk, and then in parallel, it records the slides. And once uploaded online, you can actually watch the talk slides in parallel to the actual video. It's a really cool thing. My personal take is that if you've never tried it before, it will be challenging for us to implement it for the upcoming ones, but still have that in mind. This is also an option that we can do. They have a photographer always.
What's the name of it again? Sorry. What's the name of it again?
Slides. I'm highlighting it here in the agenda, so it's point 334, and you can check it out later, and I can send the link around.
Can I just double check? Does everybody have access to the agenda still? Because I know there was a problem in the beginning. Are people still struggling to get access to it? You got it, Dario, but others not.
All right, so I see that Munich is complaining about the agenda, so maybe Steph, you can get in touch with Munich and share the link. Otherwise, just write to Stephanie and she can share the link if you don't have the agenda in front of you. And also, last but not least, Kate mentioned event host, so I think it's important to think about who is going to host the event. So it's helpful to have an engaging person who is good at facilitating, but then also working with speakers and turning a mashup into a story. So think, obviously, if you don't have a budget, you can't hire someone, but think of who from your team could be a good event host so that you can brief them well in time. And now passing the word to Joao. They in Sao Paulo, they had an event last Friday, I think, or Thursday. So Joao, maybe quickly can share some of the learnings, what went well, and what else do you think is relevant for the group?
Cool. Is Alessandro also sharing, or is it just me?
It's just you, because Alessandro, they didn't have a mashup yet.
Okay, yeah, because I was waiting for the guy that works with me. He wants to join, but it's fine. So some of the learnings we had here. The first mashup we had was last week, and it was really cool. We had a hard time engaging members to come. Not that much people showed up, like around 30 people, but it was good enough. One thing that really helped engaging people is that we had live music on the event. We invited a girl that participated on The Voice, which is a program like the X Factor that you guys have in Europe. She sang a little bit before we started the presentations. So I would definitely share as a learning that you guys have drinks and good music, so you can get people really cozy before starting. We had a networking part, at least 1 hour of networking before we started the presentations. This was really cool as well. What else? Another thing is it's I really shared this this learning with that Katka shared, that you have to get the speakers prepared in advance. We didn't have it. Our speakers, they prepare their speeches on the day of the event, most of them, but it all went well. But if you can do it in advance, it's awesome. We also we did our best to make the event feel global. So on the first part where you share updates from the network, we shared a lot about the concept and also about the global membership project and what else is being done. So I would definitely advise you to prepare what you're gonna say as Impact Hub before the event starts, because this is a pretty important part for the event. One other thing we did here, we hook up everyone with name tags. so they could identify themselves to make the networking part easier. Yeah, what else? Mas acho que foi importante em termos de aprendizado. I have Tochi here with me. He was working also on the event, so he's joining now.
Hi for everyone.
Eu estou só compartilhando alguns aprendizados.
Cool. Since João is switching to Portuguese, I'll be free to assume that that was
Asking if he has any other.
Feel free to ask any questions if you have for him. Thanks, João, for sharing. I second some of the things. So we also had name tags, and then we also I managed to find 2 hours before the actual event to prepare what I'm going to talk about the global network and everything. And lucky enough, it worked out well. What I tried to do is to actually do that in Pecha Kucha format. So to share the story about the hub, about the global membership, and then about the MashUp in a Pecha Kucha format. So that's something funky that you can think of. Great. So we are now moving into the questions and answers content part. So we'll start with, I see 2 questions. There were questions from Madalena and Alessandro. So while we're dealing with these questions and answering others, if you have questions, please just write them in the agenda. So yeah, maybe we start with Madalena. So Madalena has asked, how will we manage time difference? Madalena, is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I was thinking that we're going to do live streaming because I've seen there that we're going to have laptops for each hub. And I was questioning about hour because I don't think we're going to be able to have the event at the same hour in order to do live streaming.
Yeah, all right. So first thing is that if you're referring to the ideas part, which is below, so this part is just ideas that we collected so far. So these ideas are not decided. To answer the question regarding the time difference, I think that we said we aligned that we'll do that 6:30. The event will start at 6:30 at CET in European hubs. When it comes to Sao Paulo, that would be somewhat early in the morning for them. So I think that we said that will be possible for now or challenging. But we thought of how do we kind of share what's happening in Europe with Brazil and also some locations like Kuala Lumpur, which leads me to an important update. So I saw that Ralph joined the call. Ralph, thank you for being with us. You can check out the agenda. Steph can send you the agenda if you're not looking at it. And this call is also being recorded, so you can see the first half afterwards. But if you have any questions so far, you can add it into the Q&A content. Madalena, does that answer your question so far?
Yes, it's okay. It's manageable for me. It's gonna be 7:30 in Bucharest, so it's okay.
Yeah, okay, good, thanks. We have Alessandro. Will we have live streaming from the other Impact Hubs? How is it going to work? Alessandro, anything to add?
No, just that. So,
all right.
What are we gonna use?
Yeah, this is one of the questions that goes into the ideas part. So I'll just add another point in the ideas and I'll call it live streaming. We didn't decide that we'll do it yet. We can think of possible solutions, and then also an idea was to see whether some Impact Hubs have experiences. By some Impact Hubs, I mean some Impact Hubs that are part of this project. So people present in the call, if they have experience with smart live streaming, as in the one that is not too buggy and so on. And then regarding the live streaming of the actual talks, we won't have it. What we could have, if Joao could agree on it, or Ralph, is we could have streamings from very different time zones. But since the event is happening at the same time in most of Europe, at least it will be possible to stream simultaneously other events. That's my take on it, but we can decide on it later in the ideas part. Cool. Joao, what about the MashUp blog? So tell us more about it.
Yeah, actually, I was just wondering because I heard news saying something on the previous call, and I had no idea what it meant. So I was just wondering what is it? What is it? Is
If I can jump in there, Joe, I think that was, I think Niels is talking about the next sort of wave of communication to do with the global membership pilot, and one of the spotlights is going to be on the upcoming MashUp event. So yeah, definitely there will be some blog communication and other comms going out sometime before the 26th of November, just to the wider network, just to give people a heads up that this global event is happening. So yeah, it should be an extra sort of comms push.
Cool. So actually, I thought it had something to do like with sharing what happened in each of the cities. But then I think what I have is more idea than a doubt. So it's how can we share like the stories that are being shared on each of the events on the same place where you can go and maybe know what happened in Zurich or in Vienna and so on.
Yeah, again, this is one of the things that we can decide on, and if we see that it's easy to implement and also that we can sign up, sign up for it, then we should go for it. I parked it as an idea. It's 0.5, 0.8, so it's a blog. How can we share stories that are shared at other events? Cool. More questions. Wow, great to see a lot of questions. So. Joao, should we record the sessions and open a YouTube channel to stream them, not live, in the day of the MashUp before and after the event? Again, this is a really good example of an idea that we should decide. So I think that from my experience, which I would really like to see a lot of funky ideas, but we also need to make sure that at least majority of us can sign up for them. So that means that we need to agree on a certain quality of things. So if we figure out that that's possible, if some of you have done it in the past, and we can say it's easy for us to find technical equipment that will allow us to do that, then I'm definitely up for it. Slides Live is actually a software that does that. So you sync the software with the camera and the laptop where the slides are, and using sound recognition or voice recognition, it aligns the presentation with the video. So even a better version of that would be that we say, okay, everyone, all of us will use Slides Live, and then upload all the talks. So again, maybe you can park this idea, so it's fine. It would be a next idea, or maybe Steph, you can write the YouTube recording or video recording and uploading. Does it answer your question, Johan?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
All right. Marga, where do we get the global updates from relevant for the MashUp live stream? Yes, no, sorry, I didn't get the answer for Alessandra's question. Can you maybe clarify the question? Because
yeah, my question was whether there is some sort of platform where we could share the updates for the global network. So like to make a nice introduction to the event, to see what's happening in other hubs, like to make it more global, you know, some sort of like not a theme, but rather just yeah, those little updates, what's happening in other locations.
yeah.
Can I just ask for a clarification? Do you mean an internal sort of a platform, and then that makers would be able to share their updates in terms of organizing the events, or something that's more external for people who are attending the event?
No, internal, something for us. The internal platform.
Yeah, I think, Dushan, I think this is something we touched on actually in our call earlier. We felt that there was probably a need to create something like a sort of a MashUp channel like we have in Slack, specifically where we can pose questions and just sort of share updates and share ideas with one another. Myself and Dushan already spoke about that before the call. There is actually a MashUp channel that exists within the just within the pilot teams. But we've realised now, as some of the co-pilots are interested in coming on board, that there's a gap between those sort of two things. So I think what we will probably do is shift the communications over into the co-pilot Slack channel, and invite Dushan, who will be there, and Alessandro and Joao and all of those guys, and we will continue the conversations in there.
Yeah, and the second one was basically just about do we live stream, or what was the someone of you asked asked something about live streaming, but we didn't get it. There was internet connection wasn't that good. So if you could just repeat your answer.
So what I said is that so maybe we can. First of all, nothing is decided about this. So if we decide as the host of the actual event that we want to do live stream in one way or another, then we're going to do it. I also think that it would be relevant for Kuala Lumpur and for Sao Paulo, because they can either participate or they can stream their events and we can watch them. By us, I mean most of us are from European hubs, so that in that sense, it doesn't make sense to stream the talks. But what we can do is we can have the window, so-called the window into other hubs, so that we have some sort of connection to what's happening in other spaces at the same time, and also think of how can we integrate Kuala Lumpur and Sao Paulo. That was the question. But again, after we clarify the questions, we'll enter the ideas section and decide if it's possible.
Yeah, and I guess, Dushan, coming out of this call, as we collect all the ideas and the thoughts from everyone, at some point we will then go through those and sort of possibly make some recommendations in terms of things that easy wins in terms of ways to make your MashUp event feel global. And if we think that there's a need for creating some sort of a central platform, then we will try and figure out how we do that and where the responsibility for that will sit, possibly within the sort of the project team for the pilot. So yeah, just generally collecting ideas at the moment and getting your input from all over, and then we will try and come up with some recommendations.
Yeah, thanks, Steph, for that. So what she said. So moving on, Gaia, I had a question. So I read Gaia's questions. I copied it from the chat, so I won't reread it because it's long, but in a nutshell, Gaia is asking, they have a similar event in Belgrade, and it's called Incitement, and it's happening every 27th of the month. And the question is, should they repeat it or not? If it was me, I probably wouldn't repeat it. I think it doesn't make sense to have two very similar events, one after another. What you can think of is how can you make sure that the audience at the Incitement event understands that in a similar date span, so to say, there's this global event happening. That's so. I would be. I can't offer quick ideas, but I would be. I would try to think of what's the narrative that I can use so that my members and the rest of the audience understands the opportunities that come with the network having such an event. Maybe we can have a separate call and we can brainstorm some ideas, but it's a very specific case. And then you can still collect very similar, then you can collect a similar feedback, because some of the questions that we'll be asking our audience is about the globalness of the experience. So just make sure to also label it. By now, all of you should know the hashtags that we use. So it's Inspire, Enable, and Connect. So just make sure that also to brand the Incitement event as the Inspire event, because that's the main need that we're serving with MashUps. Yeah.
Question for Gaia, sorry, just to follow up, can I jump in? Gaia, is it something that, I guess your Incitement event was already sort of scheduled into the calendar when you took on this program, but is it something that you would consider rebranding something like your Incitement event eventually to a MashUp so that it would sort of fit in with and really become a part then of the global event?
So the Incitement is also actually happening in I don't know how many cities, but a lot of countries in the world, and it's also a movement, and it's amazing to actually leverage on. I mean, the main target group is youth and young people, and it's an amazing actually tool to to get young people to take action and do something about it. So it's also something that goes very well with the Impact Hub, because then from that stage of incitement, then we take them steps further and follow on with everything else. So it as a global movement, also the incitement actually has its sort of rules, and so you do that on the 27th of every month, and on the same sort of format, and then you change the speakers and the themes every month. So and actually the incitement is now being prototyped in a lot of, I mean, in different impact hubs as well. So I think it is something that is really becoming a network of networks and a global movement within a global movement. So it's a lot of fun. It's amazing. Actually, we just had, I'm under the influence, because actually we called Gary Whitehill to our last incitement in Belgrade, and that was just boom, you know, that was just amazing.
Sorry, but maybe the idea would be that it sounds like you have a lot of learnings. So if it's part of the global movement, you can also share some of the ideas in the Slack chat once we form it. So you can think of what are the elements that made incitement a really cool event, and so you can share it with the rest of us so that we can apply those learnings to the upcoming mashup. Regarding the very quick reaction from my side, so I think there are other similar event formats that are also scaled throughout different impact hubs. What we recognized, or how we started with it, is that we don't have something that's similar to a sexy salad. So a sexy salad was the impact hub owned event. So impact hub started the sexy salad, and even though the sexy salads were different throughout the world, and now not all the impact hubs are doing it, we thought of what could be an event that we can host and that can be that we can decide on kind of how we're going to do it. So and then again, I think that the opportunity with this one, the coming one, is that it's the global one. So we'll see whether if we realize after this one that all of our members go crazy about the fact that it's happening on the same day at the same time, then it makes sense for us to continue doing them like that. Otherwise, we can maybe see and we say, okay, we'll do it monthly, but at different times. But we'll still find a way how to globalize it. So that's why, again, going back to one of the first points, just try to to highlight the global aspect of it, both in narrative, so the way you communicate it, but also with the ideas that we agree on. And so whether that can be a live stream and cool. And the last question is from Dario. So Dario, is there going to be a global theme? Has it been chosen yet that would make it quite global? I'll be free to continue answering. You can add up if there's something after my answer or reply. So right now, no. I definitely agree that this was one of the ideas. So it would be very powerful thinking about the future of mashups, how, I don't know, we get partnership with someone who cares, a big player who cares about the environment, and then we say, look, it happens that Impact Hub Network hosts monthly events, and we can have X amount of speakers talking about this topic and so on. For this one, we said it will be challenging because it's not the case that all the Impact Hubs will be ready to find speakers that have a good story to share on a certain topic. So that's the reason why for this one we said it's up to Impact Hubs to decide on the topics, but we need to think of how can we still leverage on the fact that it's happening in a number of impact hubs, even though the theme or the topic is not the same. And some of my thoughts that I also parked down there were featuring the number of talks, featuring some interesting facts. For example, we can share our data on what are the topics of the talks throughout our impact hubs. And then as one of the opening slides, we can say, as we speak, there are 9 stories shared on education, 12 on integration of refugees, 10 on this, and so on. So we can think of how can we, even though it's not topic aligned, make the most out of it being global. Is there anything you would add?
Yes, yes. I think just I wanted to add that I think that would be a great idea to incorporate the windows into other hubs with the topics that are treated in these other hubs. I think it would be a pity to just put a screen and then people would just come across, but there could be something where you say in the beginning, okay, we have these and these topics, and then maybe people in your hub could vote on what they're most interested in, and then we could actually make them connect with a particular hub somewhere where then someone would explain that from that hub, that other hub would like give a quick resume for the people at the Impact Hub Geneva who would be interested in the topic that was treated, I don't know, in Vienna, for example. But of course, that's just an idea. It needs some.
No, great. I think it's a great idea. You can also park it in the idea section, and we see how can we hack it in a way that is that we still have it, but with not big technological demands, I guess. Great. I think. Yeah. I think that that's it with the questions. We have 15 minutes to go. I suggest that I'll just run down through the ideas, at least the ones that were captured by me, and then if I don't know who added an idea, I'll ask. How to take this forward is to, after featuring or talking about every single idea, we can have a round of clarifying questions if one of the ideas was not so clear, and then we can, as a follow-up to this call, send out the questionnaire where you can say whether you believe that your Impact Hub would be excited and it would be feasible for Impact Hub to take part in having that feature, so to say, or not, as a part of the next MashUp. Let me give you an example. So if we say, we need to agree on a common hashtag, then if the survey comes and you are asked as a host of the upcoming MashUp, hey, do you think that you can get your members to tweet using these hashtags? Then your answer, I hope, will be yes, because that's one of the easy one, or so-called low-hanging fruits. And so we need to decide, based on the reality of your hub, whether you can subscribe to something or not. Cool. I hope that made sense, because I won't ask everyone. You can nod whether it's if it was clear or not. But I'll just move on. So the first one is the actual hashtag. So I think that everyone knows what a hashtag means, but it's a word used for social media channels where someone searching for that hashtag can see whatever people wrote. Some even more funky ideas around this could be that we align on how we present the hashtag to the audience. So maybe we can say everyone participating in the event is invited to share sentences or quotes that inspire them during the event, right? Or we can brainstorm about it, but that would be the idea of the hashtag. The hashtag that we're going to use is Impact Hub, so hashtag Impact Hub MashUp. That will be the common used hashtag, but how we use it, we can decide. Then a Twitter wall or a hashtag wall would be is a feature of having a screen that can list all the tweets, Facebook shares, and any social media activity coming from anywhere where the hashtag is used. So I think it's also a simple thing to do. We would have to think of whether there are some easy to implement Twitter walls or hashtag walls. So as I go, you can maybe, if you know of a good solution, or if there's a solution that you use in your Impact Hub, you can maybe add it as a comment. So you can just, I'll do that if you look in the agenda. So if I hit next to the Twitter wall, enter, and then I move the indent, or I just press tab, then I can say wall of tweets is a great solution. And so we know actually if there are already solutions in place so that we don't repeat ourselves. Again, I hope that made sense. So you can see what I did in the agenda under the wall of tweets. So if you have any input on any of the ideas that I'm sharing, just please land them there. Moving on, data collection presenting. So for example, a percentage of the talks and which topics there are, or maybe sharing data on the total number of participants in all the hubs. So that would require us to collect or upload the data before the event so that we can share it with the audience. That would be the idea. In short, windows to other hubs. The idea was to have, for each Impact Hub that's participating, to have a dedicated laptop with either a Zoom channel or a Skype channel, so that people before the event can just go around and say hi to people in Munich or Stockholm and maybe have a chat. So it's kind of a networking with other hubs before or maybe after the event through such windows. Then having a Zoom channel is an easier version of that. So having a beamer or projector that projects such a Zoom channel like we're having right now, so that people can just go in front of it and just mingle kind of with each other before the event, featuring all the Impact Hubs that are taking part in it. There was a live streaming mentioned. So again, for me, this is a bit, I don't know if live streaming goes into that direction. A lot of you asked about the live streaming, so if you have some more input, you can share it down there in the idea section. But I shared my thoughts before. The other one says share presentations. I think that from here on, it was not me who shared the idea. So maybe if you we're at the point 5.8. So if you are the one who wrote down this idea, or if Stephanie, you wrote it down, but you know who was the one who said it, then maybe you can go on and present it quickly. Mind that we have 10 minutes to go. So just try to do it in 30 seconds per idea. Is that okay?
Okay, so I don't think live streaming is the best solution for us, not only because we are on different time zones, but because if we keep on getting more hubs onboarding on that, it's going to be impossible to choose which Impact Hub we are going to live stream on our event. So I don't think it's like the most intelligent solution, but I think we could work on something like a same space where you can find different ways of knowing what happened in other hubs. So we could find ways of sharing the presentations. It could be the full presentation using Slide Live, for instance, or we could have just like a highlight of the presentation with a picture and a small text about it. So if you can collect the video and the presentation in your Impact Hub, that's awesome. But if you can't, you can only like share some highlights and comments. So we have like a more open format, but at the same time we can like cluster all the different presentations and people and ideas at the same space. So this is my idea.
Okay, cool. So again, being mindful of the time, we are at the point 5.8. It says share presentation. I think that was that one that you were talking about, João? Was that your idea? Yeah? Okay, good. Then the next one is blog. So 30 seconds for blog. Can you present the idea in 30 seconds?
I don't know who added this in, but I'll present it. So this was about having a place where we can share the stories of the events that are happening other places. So it could be some sort of an online blog, and I'm thinking maybe it could feed into the stories of the Impact News channel, which we're developing as part of the pilot.
Thank you. All right, so then Stephanie takes it forward. If you didn't understand this in the questionnaire, then ask Stephanie for more input. YouTube channel to stream them, not live, and they have the MashUp. Very quickly, Yoav, do you have some experience with this?
No, I don't have experience, but I thought, you kind of talked about it before. I thought it was just going to be nice to create guidelines for recording the sessions. And then when we have a TV screen in our space, for example, we can stream live things all during the day. And that's why I think the MashUp is the strong point of it. Because live streaming is not going to work, but before and after the event, you can see examples from other hubs. It's inspiring. And I think, it can be a great teaser for our own event. That's what I'm saying.
Cool. I am deleting something because Tim actually wrote something, so I took one point out. He said that it's not relevant anymore. Incitement, Gaia will share we agreed that Gaia will share more info about it via the channel. And one global theme, we mentioned that this is something we want to park for the next mashup. But Dario, if you have any ideas on how we can still have it somehow during this mashup, or connected to the data collection from before that we mentioned, think about it and maybe share it with us after the call. I see the bilateral partnering rather than live streaming. So Stephanie, you added this, right? So this is.
Yes, I did. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just going to skip back to the previous part about the global team before I go on to answer that. I think it's a really nice idea, and for those hubs who have not yet decided what their team is going to be for the mashup, if there's a hub out there who if we want to maybe share what our teams are, and if the other hubs then want to jump on board and say, okay, yeah, I really like that team, that suits us, so we can start to do a sort of a semi-global team where we get a bunch of hubs working on one thing, and then for the next mashup event that we get a full sort of global team across all of the hubs. So in the mashup channel that I create, and I'll invite you to later, that might be a good place to share that. And sorry, yeah, the next part around bilateral partnering rather than live streaming, this was just something that came to me as Jao was mentioning the difficulties of live streaming, but maybe it would be possible to simply just one hub to partner with another for each mashup. So we know that we want to make the mashups global, and for example, in one particular mashup event, Zurich partners with Sao Paulo, for example, and they do a sort of a spotlight on each other, and that partnership can change each time that we do a mashup, and each hub can do a spotlight sort of on the.
Cool. Thanks for sharing that idea. So again, it was very challenging to host this as a brainstorming session. So I hope that at least some of these ideas inspired you to think about what else we can do. So once we have this MashUp channel up and running on Slack, then we can maybe check out some of the other ideas. Again, building on the experience in the past, I think that we should set a deadline, but we'll have to think about this. Until when can we brainstorm, so that we then go into the preparation part, so that whatever we decide to do is up to the standards of the event. So that was it. The next steps is please fill in your contact details. There's a point 6 there. If you didn't do that so far, because I don't know all of you guys, and we just create the Slack channel for any reason doesn't work out, that we still have the emails. Stephanie, you want to add something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, if I get you into the Copilot channel, Dushan, you'll have access to everybody's contact details from in there. So everyone's got a profile with their email address, so maybe that would work just as well.
Great. Then, okay, the point 6.1 became redundant. So that means that you don't need to populate this form. If it doesn't work, then I'll try to hunt you down via HubNet or something. But again, going back to the first point, even though I'm very happy to send out the invitation, I'm not, unfortunately, the lead for this project, but I'm very happy to bounce some of the ideas so that we can really make the most out of it. Cool. Maybe we can have a 24-second checkup. So just, I don't know, literally going out of the call. I can start. So for me, it was really good to get to know you guys, and looking forward to collaborating and seeing what happens in the next session.
Dushan, you're going to use up all of the 24 seconds. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Jeff?